Hi, this is John Miller, Associate Editor of IGN Xbox 360, and today we will be reviewing NCAA Football 07. Now, NCAA football has a storied history on both the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox, one of the top-selling and top-rated sports games year in and year out. However, NCAA Football 07 is the first year on the Xbox 360, and while it hits, it also misses. Now, NCAA 07 works off the Madden 360 engine. The EA has done a great job of cleaning up some of the collision detection problems that have been there. This time around with the hit stick, you're going to see some real jarring tackles and some of the best tackling animations out there. The big gameplay feature EA is pushing this year is momentum. Now, in college football, games are going to swing back and forth in either team's favor. While I like the idea of the momentum feature, you don't really notice it factoring into the gameplay. There's no real attribute boost. EA didn't want to give an unfair advantage to one team, kind of the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. So, unfortunately, while your momentum meter's filled up, it's just more of an indicator that you're beating the other team. Now, probably the best part of using the Madden 360 engine is the fact of using the Madden 360 controls. After you've been playing with the right trigger to sprint, you're going to wonder how you ever played with the current gen controls. I think they've really honed it in and tightened it in, so you're going to get your players going where you want them to go. Visually, NCAA football looks great, but for everything it does well, it does something wrong. Unfortunately, while the stadiums look great, the frame rate drops so low that when you're flying over the Rose Bowl, for instance, it just kind of puts, and it kind of decreases the beautiful effect that EA created with the stadium. Another good example are the helmet reflections. On these kind of cinematic sequences, you can look into a player's helmet and actually see the stadium he's playing in reflected in his helmet, and that's an awesome touch. However, when you pull back and you're in the regular gameplay mode, the helmet shows some little aliasing, so it almost looks like a PlayStation 2 helmet instead of an Xbox 360 helmet. I was playing in Michigan the other day, and it was a snowy day. Snow's on the field. But for some reason, while all this gray and white slush is on the field, the sidelines are completely green. And it's just these kind of sloppy little touches that, if they had been fixed, could have really made this game look fantastic. Now, when Madden NFL 06 came out as a launch title on the Xbox 360, and all the other EA Sports launch titles for that matter, we were all a little bit disappointed with the skimpy features on the next generation titles. A lot of game modes were left out that should have been in there. Almost 1 year later, we have NCAA Football 07, and we were expecting a fully fleshed out game. There's no longer an excuse to say, hey, this is a launch title. True, this is the first version of the Xbox 360, but we've had almost 9 months to play with, and for some reason, we're still missing the key game modes that make the current generation game so great, such as Campus Legend, even Create a Player, Create a School. All of these are missing. Dynasty mode, for instance, plays just like NCAA Football 98. There's nothing to do week to week in between games like practices or drills that we become accustomed to. And that's just what we want from our sports games now. That's how they've evolved. There's no reason why we should take this kind of step back. In an attempt to make up for this and differentiate this game from the current generation version, EA did add 3 new mini games, which, while fun, serve more as a distraction than a bona fide game mode. And, while I like these mini games, I'm going to play them for more than a few hours for all the time that I own this video game. So I think we're a little bit disappointed that we're paying $10 more, and instead of the Campus Legend feature, we're going to get 3 mini games. There are some nice touches in the sound department. Nestler, Herbstreit, and Corso return in the booth, complete with the trademark banter that Herbstreit and Corso are known for. Also added a lot more comments about the new momentum features in the game, for example. And for a lot of schools like Florida State and Florida and SC and Notre Dame, you're going to hear some authentic chants and some fight songs. We took the game online, and the options are pretty standard. There's your ranked and unranked matches, the lobby, and the leaderboard. Still, no online leagues. I think a online season of conference play with some friends would have been a great idea. We're still waiting for EA to flesh that out. In terms of Espn Integration, EA did include the ticker, but unfortunately they didn't include the ESPN Sports Radio update, which we saw in NCAA Baseball 06, and even on the current generation version of the game. Why this makes the current gen version and not the 360 version, I'm not really sure. We also have games out there like NFL Head Coach, where we have a virtual Trey Wingo, a virtual Steve Sable. Unfortunately, NCAA still has incorporated that ESPN presence, a good studio presence like we've seen in old games like NFL 2K5, for example. Overall, NCAA Football 07, it's a good game. A good base, if not a little bit disappointing in that we've come to expect so much from this awesome franchise. This time around, you can't really blame the lack of features on this game being a launch title. It's been almost a year into the lifespan of the Xbox 360, and we look forward to a lot more next year. If you want to read the entire review, you can check it out on IGN.com.